The Washington State Housing Finance Commission developed the Farm Worker Special Needs Commitment in 2002 to provide housing for farm workers in our state. Owners who elect this commitment in their application must reserve either 75 or 100% of the total units in the project for farm workers. The term farm worker is defined as a household with income of at least $3,000 per year from farm work as defined in the farm work references pages, with the total household gross income at or below 50% of the area median gross income for the county at initial occupancy. The complete definition of farm work, including explanation of exceptions and clarifications, and also including the forms and instructions, can be found on our website. That is located at wshfc.org/managers/forms-rc. There are 3 exceptions in the farm worker commitment regarding household qualification. The first exception pertains to households that did not earn at least $3,000 in the 12 months previous to initial certification. If the household made less than $3,000 from farm work in the previous 12 months, they must be able to document all of the following: that at least one household member has a history of meeting the farm work requirement, and at least one household member's principal current occupation and past 12 months occupation is farm work, and at least one household member plans to continue doing farm work as their principal occupation. The second exception is a household with a disabled individual whose principal occupation in the 12-month period prior to disability was farm work. And the third exception is a household with an individual who has retired from farm work. That household must include at least one person who is at least 55 years of age. They must have spent the 5 years prior to retirement as a farm worker, or spent the majority of the 10 years prior to retirement as a farm worker. The first step in determining if a household meets the farm work commitment requirements is presenting the Farm Worker Household Initial Certification Form to your applicants. Each household at a commissioned property with the farm work commitment is required to complete one of these forms. The principal occupation of the household should be farm work. The household is required to have earned at least $3,000 in the 12 months previous to initial certification. The middle portion of the form contains the question of whether the household meets any of the exceptions that I spoke about earlier, and the table listing the household members earning qualified farm work income. Be sure they complete the line asking how much income from farm work the household anticipates in the next 12 months, and if the primary occupation of at least one member of the household will be farm work during the next 12 months. The bottom of this form requires the signature of the head of household, certifying that the information is complete and correct, as well as a reminder to property management to properly verify the income, and the note about Section 1001 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code regarding false statements and misrepresentations. Up next, we'll take a look at the Farm Work W-2 certification form. The top portion of this form lists the property name and unit number for the household, and again we see the farm work definition. The bottom portion contains the reminder to applicants that they must disclose all of the household income from the previous 12 months, and that of any anticipated income for the upcoming 12 months, along with the signature and date of both the applicant and property management representative. The Farm Work Move-In Report is required with the annual report submission in January of each year for all properties with the Farm Work Commitment. Most of the information to complete this report can be transferred from each household's Farm Work Household Initial Certification form that is completed at move-in. This report provides the Commission with information about the populations served by the commitment and the various occupations of the community. To complete the report, enter the property name, OID number, the number of total units, the number of farm worker units, and the county. On the lower portion, enter the unit numbers for each qualifying household in sequential order in column 1. Some units may be listed more than once if a household has more than one resident employed in farm work, or if one resident has multiple employers. Column 2 lists the household member or members who are employed in farm work, and please use a separate line for each household member. Columns 3 and 4 list the household move-in and move-out dates. Column 5 lists the type of farm work for each household member employed in farm work. This entry should correspond to the information found on the Farm Work Household Initial Certification Form. Column 6 lists the employer for each household member. If the resident has multiple employers, it may be necessary to use multiple lines. And column 7 lists any comments you may have about the farm work commitment qualifications for this household or household member. When you've completed this report, save the file as your property OID number with the letters FW added. An example would be 99-23MFW. Email your completed report to compreport@wshfc.org and please enter your file number in the subject line. Also, please send a hard copy of this report with your Table 1 Part B spreadsheet. I hope this webcast has helped you to understand the farm worker special needs commitment and how to qualify the households for those properties. Remember, if you have any specific questions, you can always contact your compliance officer by phone or email, or send an email to the Compliance and Preservation Division at askusco@wshfc.org.